Hey everybody, got a 96 F-150 here. You can always tell the half tons because they've got the holes in the front bumper. I've seen a lot of videos on taking apart for ball joints and for axles and things like that. But these, if you have a 96, then you'll know that they're a lot different. They're a P and the A to work on because everything is different than the 92, the 95s. But this guy is a 5.0 and it's got the MAF system, the mass airflow sensor, which is, and it's got a OBD2, so it's 10 times better than the old speed density. I've got headers and things like this on this guy. You can kind of see the headers back up in here. Speed density wouldn't be able to account for those things, but the mass air sensor can. Anyways, this is my first video, so I apologize. I'm kind of all over the place. But what the whole point of this is, and I've not seen the video yet, I've got auto locking hubs on this. They're great if you don't have a little brother to hop out and go in the mud puddle and lock the hubs, then you definitely want auto locking hubs. Little brothers tear up trucks too. Anyways, this is what the auto locking hub looks like. It's got 3. I guess some of the other ones had 5. Anyway, these are Torx. I think it's a T25. Just go ahead and pull those out. Now obviously I've already done everything. You get to this, a long time ago I stopped at this until I found out there's a snap ring that holds it in. Now, I've already pulled it off, but this snap ring is incredibly difficult to get off. What I've done, people are probably gonna hate me for it, but I drilled a little tiny hole, and that way I can just move this snap ring in place, use a pin to put this and get it started and pull it out. I plan on sealing this little tiny hole up with candle wax. A drop of candle wax, how to do it. Anyway, once you get that snap ring out, this just slides out, and this is the auto lock hub right here. If you like Fords, then you know Ford likes to have a lot of fun with people that like Fords. There's a whole puzzle in here to get out. There's a lot of, it's really hard to see. There's a lot of parts inside of this guy. They're not very hard, you know. If you got some mechanical skill, you go through and start getting those guys pulled out. I do this. But anyways, there's 2 or 3 little C-clips, things like that, to pop out. That shouldn't be much different than the other ones. And this guy is already pretty much pulled apart. What you wind up doing is, and this is the key part, this is one I pulled off the other side. Once you get in there, you will see a whole bunch of Ford fun games. This is the part that we were looking at from the side that you'll see it as it sits on the spindle. It's just held in by a couple of retaining clips and things like that. There is this guy. This is a lot of fun. It sits in there, and it sits in the hole. There's a ring in there that has some holes in it. I don't see where that is. But anyways, you wind up pulling that guy out. And then the most important thing, what differentiates these guys from all the other ones, is this is the spindle nut. You'll notice, it's hard to see, but the spindle nut actually has 6 flat sides. It takes a 2.5 inch socket to get on there, but it has to be thin walled, so there's no way you're going to use one of your sockets. You need to go down and buy it. What you may have to work on this would be what guys have to work on all the other ones, except for, we know our 96s are special. I have this, and this is what will pull off most of the other ones, but the 96 will not pull off. What you need is one of these. I got this one just down at the local auto parts store. I think I paid 15. Napa, there's always a Napa. It's like 30 bucks with Napa. Anyway, a 2.5 inch rounded socket. And you can see, let me find my nut. There it is. You can see how, if I slid this inside of my spindle, you can see how it slides right over the top of this. And engages. And it'll pop that guy right out. For 5 years or so, I was always trying to figure out how to get in. once you get there, you can slide your brake rotor off, which is this piece right here. You will see that there it is right there. There is the wheel bearing. The wheel bearing will pop right out. You can see where it seats. Okay, I got a little distracted out of buddies come by. Anyways, we're talking about trying to get into the ball joint and things like that. Essentially, just get your the spindle off, and in order to do that, you have to take your brake rotor. Anyway, back to getting this hub, or getting the brake rotor off. Brake rotor's over there. Brake rotor's on here. The second that you pull that spindle nut off, which is right here, you can just freely slide the whole entire brake rotor off, and that's what I did. After that, I believe it is a 11/16, and there's 5 of these guys. Go ahead and pop them off. Really good idea to use a impact. These impact guns are definitely worth it for pulling this stuff off. I love the IR-231s. They go, they made them for all sorts of people, and the patent, I think, went out, so everyone was making them, and this is generally what they look like. These guys are absolute animals. They'll pull. There's only 2 bolts that I've never been able to get, and those were on a tractor. So anyways, pull that guy off, and this is for your spindle. Spindle comes off. Technically, and I've already taken it off, this dust cover sits behind the spindle. Like I say, I already took it off. The dust cover does have 2 little, I don't even know what they are. They were pretty small, 2 little bolts that hold that guy, and actually I think it was right here and right here. Anyway, next thing would be to take a 13/16, and I just go through and spray things with PB Blaster. Found an old can, but anyways, PB Blaster. Zip this guy off, and then here's a trick of the trade. You probably already know it. Just put the nut back on the top and just a few threads, and then take yourself a persuasion device, and you don't want to hit the actual tie rod or any part of it, but you want to hit, and you can see where it's been done a few times. It's got a little bit of a lip on there. But anyway, you whack this a few times and this guy will drop, but it won't hit the ground because you have got your nut on there. And I just tend to put the nut right back on so I don't lose anything. Next thing, and you can see I've already got it. This guy's actually already loose. But anyways, 28 millimeter. I had a 1 1/8 that fit, but the 28 millimeter fit a little bit better. This is your camber adjustment for the alignment, and so this is like a bushing that goes in there. So there is a top and a bottom. The top, impact gun, obviously save your life, it's great. Spray with PB Blaster, let it sit just a little bit. I live in Colorado, so you can see she's a little rusty. I take it up and do all sorts of 4-wheeling stuff with it. But anyways, 28 millimeter, buzz it, and then just put that nut back on there, a few threads to save the whole thing from just falling down the ground. There is another one in the bottom down there. It's a thin pattern nut. I've already taken it off, and then once again, you just find yourself a nice big persuasion device. Few pops on the very top of it, a couple pops here, and then I was actually able to swing this all and get back into my bottom ball joint, and I gave it a couple taps, and then the whole thing has fallen, and it's fallen on here, but the ball joint shaft on the top is wanting to spin, so I'm going to have to use a pipe wrench and then zip it back off. Anyways, the axle's pretty easy. You've seen a lot of videos, it'll just slide right out. I just go by the spicer parts. All the spicer parts will work. My stuff is actually in pretty good condition. I was told my 4-wheel joints were bad, but I think they're just fine. A few seals, and it's 1996 and this is 2020, so it never hurts to do a few seals, a couple of preventative things. Nice to get in and just kind of check the thing out. Anyways, hope you guys liked the video.